Have you ever loved someone who didn't choose you? Maybe they left you for someone else right away, and you were left thinking, what's wrong with me? Why wasn't I good enough? And then you're questioning your own worth. If this is the case, this is the video for you. If you don't know me, my name's Deborah. I'm a transformational healer and intuitive coach, and I want to talk about the three powerful ways that you can heal the wound of not being chosen. I too have gone through this myself, and I have learned to heal the one core issue. And the one core issue was what I changed about giving the meaning to this experience. I changed the meaning to this experience, this relationship. So, this kind of dynamic that I was in, I find that a lot of people find themselves in, and it hits the best of us when we get involved with someone that we fall head over heels. We think, oh my God, this is my person, and we have all these feelings and we give so much, and then this person is not reciprocating because deep down they're not really choosing you. So sometimes it's either someone that we're involved with who is not emotionally available, and they are kind of an avoidant, they have avoidant tendencies. This is something that becomes unbalanced. So what happens is we suddenly find ourselves obsessing over trying to get them to choose us because we have this vision of, this is my person and I see this life that we can have together, and you're seeing the potential in them, and so you're just fantasizing, you're not even in reality. And so I want to talk about how the first and foremost of what I did was change the meaning of the experience, but there are three ways to do this. And number one, I want to talk about stopping making someone the judge of your worth. This is super important because you're basically giving your power over to someone. Instead of making them the judge of your worth, why don't you be the judge? Are they worthy of you? So, how do you do that? You start to question, how are they handling life? How are they digesting life? Number one. Number two is, how are they choosing to show up for you? How are they choosing to show up for themselves? Are they choosing love, honesty, and growth, or are they choosing fear and avoidance? Sometimes we hand over our worth to people who don't even value themselves. So when you take a step back and you start to look at that, you're using your logical mind instead of just your feeling. Because when you're in the feeling and the emotion, you could just get lost in it and be suffering because you want something that is not happening. So then you become obsessed. So now you're taking a step back and you're looking at, are they someone that you should choose, right? And when you start to see that, it's a sobering moment. So, number two, and this is where the meat and potatoes is, you start to release the story that your mind keeps replaying over and over and over again. And what happens when you're doing that? You are suffering, and you are reinforcing the limited beliefs that you're not good enough, you're not being chosen, you're not worthy. And where is this coming from? Why is it suddenly, especially if you've been discarded, that you are just looping and suffering and you can't get out of bed? It's because there are subconscious wounds that are triggered. These wounds are running the show, the subconscious mind. So, how do you release this mind from continuously looping? Well, the first is you start to do the release work. When I work with my clients, I have them write an intention. What do you want? And a lot of times the people will say, well, I just want a healthy relationship, or maybe I want to have a healthy relationship with them. So instead of trying to control the outcome, let's just set the intention. And the way I have you set the intention is I say, I allow. So you say, I allow myself to have the perfect relationship. So when you say that, the mind is going to resist. The mind is going to say, but I've been so disappointed, and this person left me, and I've never been able to be in a good relationship because blah, blah. All of that is what you're going to write down underneath the intention, because that is going to be what needs to be released. So you're going to take your conscious mind and put the spotlight on your subconscious mind and go, here it is. See that? And what happens when you start to dig in is you start to become more and more aware of those thoughts and you start to see where they're coming from. And you go, oh, wow, I think that my mom never made me feel good enough. And it's been lodged in there. And then you end up getting older and you choose someone who keeps that wound alive. So that's what you're releasing. It's extremely powerful. So when you have somebody by your side guiding you, then it helps you to become more and more conscious and more aware. So, how do you release those thoughts once you identify them? You release them by not giving any attention anymore. You're just like, I'm going to make my intention to not give attention to these anymore. And eventually they dissolve. They may try to come up again, but you're more aware now. You're not married to them anymore. You're just like, I see them, but I'm not going to give it any attention. So, and these thoughts really have no power over you, but you let them have power because you never questioned them. You never took a step back to see why you're feeling these feelings, why you're thinking these thoughts, why you have these limited beliefs about yourself. You never even question. Now you're questioning them, taking a step back. So as you start to release, then you start to rewrite the script. What is it that you want? I want to have this kind of relationship. And you'll discover it's very far away from what you were experiencing. So you start to write the script. And that's the fun part. And you get inspired again and you get excited because it pulls you out of the suffering. And especially if you're in a community, a group that's really supporting everyone, and you have people that are supporting you. So you're writing the script and then you start to change your frequency. And that's when the magic happens. That's when things start to change in your life. Then you receive. So my tagline is release, rewrite, receive. Then you start to receive. And what are you receiving? You're receiving the benefits of what you've done. And you're in a new timeline. You're in a new version of you, a new frequency. And this is where the magic begins. So instead of being someone that you are wanting to be chosen, you become the one that chooses. You get back into the power seat. And then you start to see things much more clearly. And you start to see that person for who they are, and you've cleared out your emotional baggage. And that will help you so much to be able to make sound decisions about any connection that you have with that person or any future connections, any kind of relationships. This is so powerful, guys, because your life can change so much, and then other people around you, it will transform your relationships with others. So, you were never meant to earn somebody's worth. You are already worthy. And that's something that I really want to emphasize is that when you're releasing, you can release for anything. You can release to have a great relationship. You can release to have more money. You can release to have better health. But ultimately, what you're doing is you're releasing the mind. You're releasing not the mind that we need to function, but the limited beliefs about yourself or the limited beliefs that you have about money, about relationships, about the world, all of that because it really clouds who you really are, the beingness that you really are. And the beingness that you are already has everything. So once you start to release these thoughts, these limiting beliefs, and you really start to experience the beingness that you are, which is perfect health, perfect wealth, perfect love, you're going to laugh because you're going to say, how could I ever feel like I was never chosen? How could I ever think that I'm not worthy? Because you are part of the consciousness of the universe. You are the universe. We're all one. Everyone is you pushed out. So, how do you want you to behave to you? So, any relationships that you have that maybe are not harmonious, how do you want you in them to treat you? And vice versa. That's a game changer. That is something that to marinate on, to go. Because when we are projecting negative emotions towards anyone, like resentment, anger, hurt, not feeling chosen, not feeling worthy about ourselves, about them, about all that, we're clouding our beingness. We are blocking our beingness. We're ignoring our beingness, and we are shutting off the faucet of the universe of abundance. So, releasing is very powerful to be able to clear all of that and to restore the flow of the universe, the faucet of abundance. So I hope this video has really helped you to heal the wound of not being chosen. Eventually, you will see what I was just saying, that you will not be able to even entertain those thoughts anymore. So, if you'd like to join my community, everything will be in the description. I have a private Facebook group, I have a membership you can join, and you can be a part of this community that is very supportive of exactly what you could be going through. So, thank you so much, and I hope that you like and subscribe to my channel.